Hey my loves! So as some of you might know, the last few months have been a little bit nuts for me. Between a major home renovation, a huge move, and a really hectic work schedule, I have not been spending very much quality time with my fiance, Greg. So today I've decided to host an epic date night feast that I think he's going to love. I definitely have my work cut out for me today, which is why I'm super excited to be teaming up with Covergirl and their brand new Outlast All Day collection, which is made to withstand anything your day can throw at you. So I started my day by applying Covergirl's Outlast All Day 3-in-1 foundation. Now I love this foundation because even though it's full coverage, it's really, really easy to blend. Then I touched up my under eye circles with the Outlast All Day Concealer, because believe me on this one, you do not ever need to see me without concealer, and the handy applicator tip makes it super easy to apply. Next, I set it all with the Outlast All Day Matte Finishing Powder. Now this has the fancy Shine Stop technology, which is perfect if you're going to be spending your day under lights like these. Finally, since this is date night after all, I'm rocking Outlast All Day Custom Reds Lip Color in Custom Coral, which boasts all-day wear with a lightweight feel. I'll be checking in on my makeup throughout the video to see how it's holding up. Okay, now that I'm camera ready, it is time to get cooking. And today's menu is no small feat. For my appetizer, I'm going to be making some really incredible savory French onion stuffed mushrooms. For my main, I am totally taking things over the top with a melt in your mouth oven roasted beef tenderloin. And for dessert, I am making these incredible chocolate raspberry macarons that are just begging to be devoured. And without further ado, we are going to get started today by actually whipping up our dessert first, since it is by far the most time-consuming recipe of the day. So these incredible chocolate raspberry macarons are totally worth the effort, but they can be a little fickle. Now the first step is really critical. We need to start by sifting our powdered sugar and our almond flour. Now it's really important to do this because otherwise you can end up with these chunky bits in your mixture, and that is not good for anyone. Next, we're going to set that aside and get started by whipping up some egg whites. I've got 3 egg whites in the bowl of my stand mixer, and I'm just adding a touch of cream of tartar, which is gonna help them set up and get nice and fluffy. I'm going to slowly add in my granulated sugar, just a splash of vanilla extract, because of course vanilla extract makes everything taste better, and some red food coloring until I've reached a pretty shade of pink. Now that we have beautiful stiff peaks, it is time to fold my almond and sugar mixture into my egg white mixture and beat it just until it's well combined. You don't want to overmix this, bad things can happen. When it's all mixed together, we're just gonna transfer it into a piping bag, and then we are going to pipe out these little dollops of deliciousness on a parchment-lined baking sheet. Then you wanna let them hang out for 20 or 30 minutes just until they start to become tacky on top. I'm going to pop them in the oven at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 to 12 minutes. It's critical you do not overcook them. Another important thing is once you've turned your oven off, do not open that door. Resist the urge. I know you're gonna wanna peek in and see how beautiful they are, but it is a mistake. You wanna leave that door closed and let them cool in that oven for at least an hour. In the meantime, while all that is happening, we are going to work on whipping up some ganache filling. This is the chocolate portion of these delicious cookies. For this tasty chocolate ganache, I have really finely chopped some beautiful chocolate. I highly recommend you do this with really good quality chocolate. This is date night. We're trying to be a little decadent. I'm just going to heat some whipping cream up on the stove just until it's warmed through. It's important to keep a good eye on it because it's really easy to scald it. Once that cream is heated through, you're just going to pour it over your chocolate. And definitely this is a good place to add just a few drops of raspberry extract. We're gonna stir all of that together until that chocolate is melted completely. And then to finish it off, we are going to add a few tablespoons of room temperature butter. Once that's all been incorporated, it is time to get to work on building our final macaron. You basically just spoon on some tasty ganache. You can definitely do this with a piping bag if you are feeling fussy, but since I still have 2 more courses to make, I'm not feeling that fussy. Holy macaroni! What you end up with is one serious dessert. Okay, so my macarons are done, and I have to say, my makeup is still in really, really good shape. This 3-in-1 foundation has like a built-in primer, and man, it's really helping it last. And you know, since I'm the chef, I get to do the cookie eating around here. All right, time for some French onion stuffed mushrooms. Now these are one of my all-time favorite appetizers. They take a little bit of effort, but trust me, it is totally worth it. It all starts with a cast iron skillet heating up on the stove over medium-high heat. To that, I'm going to add some butter. Once that butter is nice and melted, it is time to add our finely sliced onion. We're just going to cook these onions up until they start to caramelize. That usually takes between 20 and 30 minutes. You definitely need some patience for this recipe, but I promise you, it is all worth it. Keep those onions moving though, because you don't want them to burn. To that, I'm going to add some beef broth, some minced garlic, some fresh thyme leaves, and a few dashes of Worcestershire sauce for good measure. We're gonna keep cooking this for another 2 to 3 minutes or until all of that liquid has been absorbed. Then we are going to remove our onions from the pan and get started on sauteing our mushrooms. I'm going to add another nub of butter to my pan and toss in my mushrooms. As you can see, I have removed the stem of my mushrooms because that's where we're going to put the filling. We're gonna saute our mushrooms for about 4 minutes, and then we're going to remove them and place them topside down in a baking dish. We're going to use a spoon to spoon that delicious caramelized onion mixture into the center of each of our mushrooms. Then we are going to top them with a sprinkle of shredded Gruyere cheese. When it's time to bake them, you simply put them in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for between 10 and 12 minutes, or just until they're heated through and that cheese is melted and gooey and delicious. These are going to be absolutely incredible. I know Greg is going to love them. Moving on, we are going to be getting to the main event, which is my oven roasted beef tenderloin. I am so excited about this recipe. Just before we get to that, I do want to do one quick makeup check to see how things are holding up. This is pretty impressive. That Outlast All Day Matte Finishing Powder has not allowed any oil to shine through, even though I've been sort of slaving away over the stove all day. Pretty great. It is very strange to talk to you in selfie, everyone. I don't selfie very often. Now, I'm getting started by seasoning this beef on all sides liberally with some salt and some pepper. Of course, very, very important when you're dealing with beef. I've got a skillet heating up on the stove. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil to the skillet. I'm gonna let it get nice and hot, and then I'm just gonna sear my beef on all sides. Because my skillet is so hot, it's only going to take about a minute per side, and you're just gonna keep your beef moving until it's nicely brown. This sort of seals in all the juices. Next, we are going to add just a little bit of beef broth to our pan. I'm also going to sprinkle on some sliced garlic as well as some fresh rosemary. I live for the combination of garlic and rosemary, and it is particularly potent when combined with beef. Once all of that tastiness is combined, it is time to get this skillet straight into the oven that has been preheated to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Once your beef has reached an internal temperature of at least 130 degrees, you can remove it from the oven, wrap it in foil, and let it rest for at least 10 minutes so that it gets a little more relaxed and all the juices reincorporate. And ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get this yumminess plated and to the table because it is dinner time. And trust me, after all this cooking, what I am is a whole lot of hungry. Now, I like serving this incredibly tender beef with a side of roasted garlic, smashed potatoes, and some braised Brussels sprouts with bacon and blue cheese. For those recipes, head over to my Instagram story or my Snapchat. They're all available there. And behold, date night dinner is served. Guys, this meal was definitely a labor of love, but I think it was worth each and every minute, and I think Greg is going to absolutely love it, so I'm so excited about that. I also am very impressed to mention that my makeup has held up really well considering I've been in the kitchen for more than 8 hours now. And my Outlast All Day lip color is still exactly where I put it this morning. I just added a little more of the moisturizing top coat, and voila, I am date night ready. I really hope you guys will give these tasty recipes a try, and if you do, be sure to snap me a photo because of course I love seeing your kitchen creations. And finally, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe.
Because there's lots more deliciousness where this came from.
Nice job.